Hey guys, today I'm doing a Q&A all about compound semaglutide and compound tirzepatide. I have been on compound tirzepatide about 5 months now. I've lost 30 pounds, I've reached my goal weight, and I think compound tirzepatide and semaglutide are just wonderful, wonderful things. All right, let's jump into questions. I dropped weight fast on semaglutide and people keep asking me about it, but I don't feel comfortable talking about it. What should I do? This is your health information, so you don't owe anyone anything. But if I were you, I would just be vague. If you don't feel comfortable letting people know that you're on a medication, I think that is 100% fine. And if people say, wow, what are you doing? You can just say, I've been working hard, or I've been really taking care of myself. Just vague things like that and leave it at that. And people will probably move on. And if for some reason they don't and they're just really prying, you can just say, I have been working hard on my health and that's as much as I'd like to discuss it. I really don't think you owe anyone any explanations if you don't feel comfortable. If you do feel comfortable talking about it later on or something, then feel free. How did you choose your goal weights? I personally, when choosing my goal weights, I thought back to a time in my adult life. I'm 32, so I picked a time after college, because college, I feel like my body was still really young. So a time after college when I felt like my body was at its prime, when it was healthy, and a time when I feel like I was living really healthy. And for me, that was the year of my wedding. I was really prioritizing my health that year because, I was about to be in a wedding dress, but I was really eating right and I was exercising. I was taking care of myself. My body felt really healthy then. And to be honest, I liked how I looked at that size. And so that's how I kind of came up with my first goal weights. And then I hit it. And I was like, you know what? I would still be completely in my healthy range if I lost 5 more pounds. And that would give me maybe a little more wiggle room when I choose to get off of this. So that's what I did. I had my goal weights, and then once I got there, I decided to keep trying to lose 5 more. When I reached that, I went into weaning maintenance mode for me, so I'm a hyper responder. That meant I dropped to half of my starting dose, and I'm doing a really long wean off. If you're someone who plans on being on this medication long term, then you might just stay on your maintenance dose. So it's something to talk to your provider about. I think it's totally fine if your goal weight changes. So as long as you're staying within, the healthy BMI and your provider feels like your goals are healthy, you might set a goal that feels like crazy, but then you might get there and then you might say, you know what, I want to keep going. And as long as continuing to go is still healthy, then, that's okay. I'd like to take a moment to thank our sponsor for today's video, the Gym Bite. I have been taking these during my weight loss journey and they have been so helpful in getting me the vitamins and nutrients that my body needs. Each of these Gym Bites is made of real food and is packed with 20 plus vitamins, minerals, probiotics, prebiotics, and superfoods. That's way more than a traditional multivitamin. The Gym Bite takes a holistic approach to health, and its real food ingredients can work together to absorb better in the body than traditional vitamins. I love that I'm getting my vitamins from real food. For example, its K2 is coming from chickpeas. I have definitely noticed an increase in energy and my hair and my skin and my nails looking better since starting these. And they are delicious. The citrus ginger flavor is seriously so refreshing. Right now you can get the science-backed Gym Bite for 50% off your first month. Go to dailygym.com/MadisonL and be sure to use my code MadisonL at checkout. How did you feel when you met your first goal weight? Oh my goodness, so emotional. I spent a whole year so frustrated with my weight, trying actively to diet and exercise and having all these PCOS symptoms, like the cystic acne and like the big hormonal belly, and just feeling so insecure and so frustrated. And then even just like 2 weeks onto the medication, already being down, like 7-ish pounds. Like that was, I almost had tears when I was looking at the scale because I was like, oh my goodness, it's finally moving. And then, 3 months in, when I met my first goal, I was just, it felt like such an answer to prayer because I was just so frustrated where I was at and my body felt so unhealthy. And then so quickly it was feeling healthier and looking healthier. It felt like my confidence was coming back. and I had to, you know, skip my step again. It was definitely emotional. And that's honestly a big reason why I decided to start posting about this. I was not someone that was like super comfortable talking about weights before this, but this medication has helped me so much and changed my life so much. I was like, you know what? I'm going to start talking about this online. Will you do an injection demo? Yes, I just recorded a YouTube short of my last injection, so I'm going to insert it here. This is how I inject my compound tirzepatide. First, I take an alcohol wipe and clean off my skin, take a different wipe and rub the top of the vial. Take the caps off my needles, poke it in the vial, flip it over, and then start drawing out the medicine. I draw it down and then it kind of suctions back up. If there's any bubbles, I tap it. When I have the right amount of units, I flip it over and then take it out. I'm on a super low dose, so that's all I fill up. And then I pop it into my skin and just insert the medicine, wait a couple seconds, and then pull it out. How did you come up with your maintenance plan? So I did a lot of personal research into what people are doing for maintenance, and there's not a ton out there. So it was a lot of YouTube videos, like finding out what other people are doing, and blogs and you know, whatever's out there, and news articles. Sometimes like doctors, obesity doctors get interviewed and they kind of say what they're doing. And so I used JoinFridays. I talked to my provider about my plans. And so what I decided to do was take a half dose of the starting dose for maintenance / weaning. I'm someone that would like to get off of it to try to see how I do. So I'm doing like a 6-week long maintenance / wean off. And since I've dropped to the half dose, I am not really losing. I'm losing like a couple ounces a week. Well, before I was losing like 1 to 2 pounds a week. So I would say this is more of a maintenance dose for me. Since I've gotten on it, the food noise has definitely come back. I'm thinking about food more. The urges to overeat are there, but I am still able to control them, I feel like, for the most part. And with my new lifestyle changes, I'm doing intermittent fasting, I'm eating a high protein diet, doing strength training, I feel like I'll be able to continue my healthy lifestyle. Could you talk more about your diet on the meds? Yes. So the dietary changes, thanks to the education from JoinFridays, from being on this medication, from my research, from watching a bunch of obesity doctors on YouTube and stuff, has really changed. Before, I was just focused on really just a calorie deficit, and now I am focused on a high protein diet within my calorie window. So I try to stay under 1,600 calories a day, which is about right for my height when I'm still trying to lose a little or trying to maintain. And then I do intermittent fasting. Intermittent fasting for me, it just makes staying in my calorie window quite easy versus if I wasn't intermittent fasting and I ate throughout the day the entire time I was awake. It's just harder that way. So if I start eating 10 a.m. and stop eating 6 p.m., then I've usually eliminated a whole meal and a snack. And so staying in my window is not that hard. And then now my meals just kind of revolve around protein. So I try to have every meal have a significant protein source in it, and hopefully my snacks too. And doing that just kind of naturally reduces the carbs I'm eating. And then I also try to add some fiber in whenever I can. So add those veggies in. I didn't realize before, but my old diet was very carb heavy. I wasn't naturally someone who was a big meat eater. I loved like a bagel or like mac and cheese and like these things that I knew I had to limit. But when you go protein focused with your meals, so if I want to have half a bagel, I can. I just might have 2 scrambled eggs with it. And then I'd only have room for half a bagel maybe. And if I'm just dying for some mac and cheese, that's fine, as long as I'm having like a chicken breast and broccoli with it. And then I can only eat, you know, like a little mac and cheese versus like the whole meal being just like a bagel and cream cheese, or the whole meal being just like a bowl of mac and cheese. And a high protein diet is really good for you if you have PCOS, which I've also been learning much more about. I moved this one to after that one because I also got asked what my exercise routine is on the meds. And this is another thing through this education from being on these meds, I've learned the importance of strength training. I don't think I really understood that before. Before, I was mainly just cardio focused. I was doing like power walking or Zumba or really just cardio, so like 6 days a week at least. But my weight was not improving at all. And I have since learned that yes, cardio is good. It can allow you to eat more, but what's actually going to improve your metabolism is regular strength training. And so when you build muscle, your metabolism improves and you can also eat more. So strength training is so important. I was worried about bulking, so I do just high rep, low weights. I love it. Once a week, I do a full body weight routine, and once a week, I do a full body Pilates video. And then the other days of the week, I do, 30 minutes of power walking or just something to be active. If one day a week I don't get a workout in, that's just fine. But adding that emphasis on strength training has made my body feel stronger, I think is a big reason that I was so successful on the medication and is a big part of my maintenance plan. I've also since learned the importance of strength training specifically for women with PCOS. So women with PCOS, our bodies can get stressed out by cardio. Now, I wasn't doing crazy cardio. If you're doing like crazy Peloton or like running, your body can get really stressed by that. And so that's why sometimes women with PCOS, even though they're like crazy active, they're like running like a half marathon or something, they're not losing the weight because their body is getting stressed by that. So women with PCOS, sometimes doing like power walking is actually better than like running a half marathon, because their body doesn't get stressed. And also women with PCOS need to build muscle and strength. And so doing like Pilates and doing low weight, high rep weight training is just so good for you. Why did you pick tirzepatide over semaglutide? I actually get asked this kind of a lot. I picked tirzepatide because in my research, I found that it has higher weight loss, a little less side effects. And I actually, from the get-go, have planned to do short-term therapy with this, which I know is just kind of crazy to some people, but that was just always my plan. And so with tirzepatide, even though it does cost a little more, if you have a short-term therapy plan, then if you meet your goal a few months earlier, then you can get off of it a few months earlier. And so then it's not actually more expensive. And also I felt like, if I am gonna do this, I was so nervous to do this. I don't know why I was so nervous to do this, but I was so nervous to do this. But I was like, if I'm gonna do this, I want to just get the good stuff. But that's not to say if you are on semaglutide, you're on the bad stuff. Semaglutide also totally rocks. You can lose a ton of weight on semaglutide. They're very similar medicines. I am so nauseous. Is there anything I can do? I am so sorry you're so nauseous. That is so frustrating. I actually, before I dropped to my half dose, had nausea about 2 days out of my week. And it was uncomfortable. It wasn't as bad as when I was pregnant. I had extreme morning sickness during both of my pregnancies, and that was just miserable for me. The nausea would just like kind of come and go throughout the day, and I would just feel a little car sick throughout the day. 2-ish days a week. So usually days like 2 through 4 after my shot. The first thing I would suggest is strategize when you take your shot. So for me, taking my shot on Wednesday or Thursday evening usually meant my nausea was peaking on the weekend, which I actually prefer, even though I have, my kids on the weekend. I'd prefer to be like nauseous at home and not nauseous at work. 2, I found just eating super clean kind of eliminated the nausea. Now this is different than when I was pregnant. When I was pregnant, like carbs made me feel better. But on a GLP-1, to me, eating just super clean. So just like clean proteins, veggies, fruits, go easy on the fruit. Too much sugar can make you feel a little yucky. Definitely made me feel better. I'd feel really crummy if I ate anything fried, like French fries, or if I had desserts like candy or anything, I'd just feel yucky. Also, I feel like an electrolyte drink would help those days. I was feeling a little nauseous. Maybe my body was just short of electrolytes. Definitely pound the water. You can drink some ginger tea, some lemon tea. If it's real bad, I would not hesitate to ask your doctor or provider for a Zepbound prescription. I know JoinFridays, the telehealth I use, will give you a Zepbound prescription, and they can call it into your local pharmacy and go through your insurance and everything. Zepbound, if you don't know, is prescription nausea medicine, and you can feel so much better on that. I was on Zepbound all the time when I was pregnant. On tirzepatide, I didn't feel like I needed Zepbound. I felt like I could kind of control the nausea with those other factors. But if you're miserable, I would definitely try Zepbound. And I would definitely try Zofran before you consider getting off of it, because maybe it would really help and then maybe you can continue your therapy. This one is similar. Is there anything that can be done for fatigue? So I definitely experienced fatigue too. Also, fatigue would peak for me at days 2 through 4 after my shots. So strategizing when you take that shot is important. Making sure that you are eating and eating enough is huge. So your body may just be feeling weak. Even though you're not feeling hungry, you need to make sure that you're giving your body enough food. My doctor suggested at least 1,200 calories a day. So that might mean you actually need to track it. I know for a lot of us, we're like, this is crazy. I have to make myself eat enough food, but you do. On these medications, sometimes you have to make yourself eat enough. If you are struggling to get enough in, I would have some protein supplements. I would have a protein bar or a protein shake or something. Prioritize the protein, take your multivitamins, try your best to get your minimum calories and protein intake. I would also do an electrolyte drink. You might be low in electrolytes. That might be why you're feeling so tired, or your blood sugar might be a little low or something. I take a nap if you can. If you have arranged so your most fatigued days are on the weekends and you can take a nap, I would totally take a nap. You might feel so much better. Even if you're not a napper, you may find, hey, on semaglutide or tirzepatide, I'm a napper. And I would talk to your doctor if your fatigue gets too bad, if you just feel super weak or something, your doctor might want to check your blood sugar. So I would report that. I've been on it for a month and I've only lost 5 pounds. Shouldn't I have lost more? 5 pounds is great, especially for the first month. I'm a hyper responder, so I started losing weight right away, but it is totally normal to not lose the first month or two, or not lose much the first month or two, because some bodies need to titrate up. That first dose is just kind of a loading dose. So it's getting your body used to it. And for a lot of people, they have to move up to get therapeutic. And so once they're therapeutic, they're losing maybe between 1 and 3 pounds a week. But if you lost 5 pounds in the first month, that is fabulous. Talk to your provider. Maybe you want to titrate up next month. But 5 pounds in the first month is really great. I've met my goal weight and I do have some side effects. And I'd like to come off the medication, but I'm afraid of the food noise coming back full force and gaining the weight back. I would talk to your provider. I think it depends on what was your cause of your initial obesity or your initial weight. And I mean, I feel you. Like, I was afraid of the food noise coming back, and it is coming back. And I'm working on coping strategies for it. If you genuinely want to get off, I would just focus on coping strategies and a maintenance plan and a fitness plan and a diet plan. And if food addiction is a problem, maybe get some counseling about that. There are even some oral medications that can help specifically with food noise. They're like anti-addiction medicines. So maybe talk to your provider about that. But I feel you. Congratulations on getting to your goal weight. I understand the wish to get off of it, especially if you are having side effects. I think just having a solid maintenance game plan is the best thing you can do. And also talking to your provider about your specific situation is one of the best things you can do. All right, that is it for this video. Thank you so much for watching. If you'd like information on JoinFridays, I have a link in the description box. My discount code for JoinFridays is Madison. Please give this video a thumbs up if you liked it. Please subscribe if you have not already. Leave me a comment. I'd love to chat in the comments, and I will see you in my next video.